George, how does it feel to have this humongous enterprise done?
Well, it's always a great relief. It's always fun to be able to finally, after 3 years of work, see it with an audience, see how they enjoy it, you know, it's the big payoff at the end of 3 years of hard labor. No, the story was written 30 years ago. I mean, it's one big long story. So this one does have a love story, which is quite a bit different, and it's, you know, the necessary part of the plot that's being told of Anakin's journey. That was challenging in its own way, because Star Wars films have a tendency to be very action-oriented, and to be able to, you know, slow down a little bit and tell a love story in the middle of it was you know, a challenge to be able to make that happen. But I think we pulled it off pretty well. Well, technically, we've gone to a whole different level, because now we're creating the films digitally, whereas before we were doing them analog. We had to build sets, we had to have puppets, everything had to be real on the set, and it was very clumsy to go into a really large fantasy environment. We really couldn't do it. So the advantage I have on this film is that I'm able, through digital technology, to go to Coruscant, the head of the home of the Galactic Senate, and see these giant things and giant settings, and have lots of digital characters, lots of different aliens of all different types that can act and play scenes and do things that I couldn't do in the first three. So in that sense, you know, I couldn't really go to this part of the galaxy without having sort of perfected the digital technology it takes to get there. Well, the digital camera is sort of like a TV camera. It operates on videotape, but what it does is, in shooting film and then putting it into a computer where we have to manipulate it and create all characters and the backgrounds and all those things, to get from the photochemical process and translate it down into a computer is very cumbersome, very expensive, and very difficult. If you shoot it digitally with a video camera, it's just very easy. You just plug it right in and you can work on your computer, just like most people can at home when they take their little home movies and they plug it in and they cut them on their home computer. So it's just a much more facile process in the digital medium. We have sets, but we use a lot of blue screen. I have a few little sets, but any big set, I do it in blue screen, which is, you know, it means I can have bigger, more epic kinds of sets. Well, Hayden is a very talented actor. We looked at hundreds of kids and tested them and had readings, and he's got an enormous amount of talent. At the same time, he's got a lot of craft. He's very professional. And so we bring it down to a group of very, very good actors at the end of 3 or 4. And then I did tests, and then I brought Natalie in to do some tests to see what the chemistry was, and then picked the best one. The style that I picked to tell them in is a style of a 1930s, you know, Saturday matinee serial. So the acting style, the sets, everything in these are sort of done in the 30s, in the genre of movies in the 1930s. And this one, it gets a little film noir. We have a little bit of a, you know, mystery and that sort of thing. But it's all done in that sort of era. I don't know. Again, I did it 30 years ago, and I thought it would be fun to do a Saturday matinee serial. And I looked at a couple possibilities. One of the possibilities I came up with was Indiana Jones, but I decided to do Star Wars, and I put Indiana Jones on the shelf and started focusing on Star Wars. But I came up with the idea of doing a Saturday matinee serial only as a feature film, and using mythological motifs, and then couching it in this cinematic language.